I have always had Buffalo's back. I always will. And while everybody loves their team, I'm not sure there's a fan base in the NFL that's more passionate and more hardcore than the Bills Mafia. Like, it doesn't matter how crappy the Bills are or how brutal the weather is, they're out there fronting and repping their guys hard. And when things are good, there is no better place to be. As an example, did you see the reaction when Buffalo made the playoffs? Did you see the love that they had for guys like Kyle Williams? You show up, you put in the work, and you will be a legend there. And the one thing we know about Mr. Big Chest, he will put in the work. We know this. So, the city of good neighbors is on the rise. You have the Electric Tower, the Buffalo Philharmonic. And don't get me started on the time that they were ranked number 25 on the list of mid-sized cities for art. I mean, come on, 25th among mid-sized cities. They don't just hand that crap out. You have to earn it, and Buffalo did. And Antonio Brown arriving only makes it better. What an incredible moment for the Bills and the Bills Mafia. Good for those fans. Good for that team. I mean, sure, it's a risk. Sure, Mr. Big Chest has been acting like a bag. But if you're the Bills, you take that shot all day long. Hell yes, he's worth the risk if you're the Buffalo Bills. They need playmakers. They need a big-time receiver. It's been a hell of a long time since they've had one. I mean, they needed a receiver so badly, they made a deal for Kelvin Benjamin. That's how badly they needed a receiver. And they just got a Hall of Famer, the best receiver they've had since Andre Reed. I mean, when was the last time the Buffalo Bills had a receiver that mattered at all? And then, another plot twist. The Bills are scheduled to play Pittsburgh at some point this season. I mean, freaking drama, right? You go ahead and you circle that bleep in red when it's official. Our national nightmare had finally ended. No more updates from Mr. Big Chest on an elliptical telling everybody that he had changed his name to Mr. Big Chest. And that's how we had to address him going forward. No more Mr. Big Chest going on social every single day to burn bridges and set what was left of his rep ablaze. It was all coming to an end. Thankfully, Mr. Big Chest headed to Buffalo, and we could all finally turn the page. Yeah, but it's never quite that easy, right? Not with Mr. Big Chest, it's not. And when the NFL's Instagram page posted a report about that trade, there was somebody who jumped right in the comments. And that somebody was somebody none other than Mr. Big Chest himself. Mr. Big Chest. And his comment was the insanely tired and overdone fake news. So there was Mr. Big Chest. Mr. Big Chest. With a bucket of cold water. Fake news. But you know what? I kept my head. I kept my dome. No reason to panic. It's still all good. It's just Mr. Big Chest doing Mr. Big Chest things. I'm sure he didn't want to go to Buffalo. But what the hell could he really say or do? They have his rights. He's under contract. If he wants to ball, he's going to have to do it in Buffalo. And just jumping into the comments section and calling it fake news does not change jack. Let's never confuse you hating something with it not being true. NBC, see you in Buffalo, Mr. Big Chest. Mr. Big Chest. And then came this tweet from Vic Carucci about an hour after the initial tweet from Rappaport, and this tweet read, an NFL source says, Bills have inquired about Antonio Brown with the Steelers, but no deal is imminent. In fact, another league source termed it, quote, unlikely. Wait, what? No! You want to talk about the ultimate record scratch? We could all finally get a good night of sleep, knowing that this Mr. Big Chest nonsense had finally been put to rest, only to wake up and discovered we're right back where we started. Nothing has changed. The ultimate rug rip. The worst rug rip since that MMA announcer completely butchered the winner of the fight. Mr. Big Chest of Buffalo. Excuse me, my bad.
For your winner.
Hey, you know what's worse than being shipped to Buffalo? Not being shipped to Buffalo. And then this morning, the Bills put out an official statement, quote, we inquired about Antonio Brown on Tuesday, kept talks open with the Steelers. We had positive discussions, but ultimately it didn't make sense for either side. As great a player as Antonio Brown is, we have moved on and our focus is on free agency. Holy crap, it's not over. Mr. Big Chest is not a Buffalo Bill, and apparently never will be. Never was going to be. According to show legend Jason La Canfora, quote, any chance of an Antonio Brown trade to the Bills fell apart because the player would not commit to going to Buffalo. By the time the report came out, the deal was dead. JLC went on, quote, Brown was unwilling to go to Buffalo, period. Wasn't even a matter of money at that point. So the deal fell through. Steelers and Bills had stopped talking and both sides had moved on. Market for Brown is pretty bleak right now. Damn. Here we are. Here the bleep we are.
Here the we are.
Now what? Where do the Steelers go from here? The market was not that good to begin with, and now it's even worse right now. Do the Steelers give him what he wants and cut him? Or do they trade him out of spite, even if they know they're going to get very little for him? Because you know that a team like the Raiders is going to be there. And if the Raiders are smart, they're going to offer Pittsburgh next to nothing. And then what about Mr. Big Chest? What does Brown do? Come to find out, my man actually does have some leverage. You know, the leverage that comes along with saying, oh, hell no, I'm not going there, but actually meaning it and backing it up. So this thing went from being over to never gonna end. And the Steelers and Mr. Big Chest and all of us are right back where we started. A team and a receiver that are so much better off together, but more busted up and broken than ever before. Somebody tell me when this is over, because I'm not talking about it again until it is.